Tempted by low online prices? You might want to think again before pressing buy. Welcome to Gary Talks Money, the finance channel without the gimmicks. My name is Gary, and today we're going to be talking about the world of cheap shopping websites like Temu, Wish, and Shein. Websites like these have been taking the US by storm in recent years, leaving a lot of shoppers with questions like, are they a scam, and why is everything so cheap? While lots of shoppers have posted their hauls on social media from websites like Temu, Wish, and Shein, others have been left holding the bag. On top of that, some shady business practices and allegations of forced labor have led to further scrutiny of the platforms. We're going to take a closer look at each of these sites and see what all the fuss is about. Let's go ahead and jump right in. So in this video, I'd like to cover 4 things about these 3 platforms. First of all, I would like to talk about who owns the companies and how long they've been in business. The second thing I'd like to cover is where the merchandise is actually coming from. The third thing I want to talk about is how their prices are so low. And the final thing is I want to address whether these companies are a scam or not. Are they a scam? We're going to find out. So, very first, let's start off with who owns these companies and how long have they been in business. We're going to begin with Wish.com. This is a name that a lot of people are probably familiar with. It's actually the only one on the list that I've ever used myself. I ordered a camera bag from Wish.com about 4 or 5 years ago. My transaction went just fine, but I'm interested in hearing about whether you've ordered from any of these companies before. Let me know down in the comments below, but we're going to start talking about Wish.com. Wish.com is actually a publicly traded American company that is based in San Francisco, California. They were actually started back in 2011, and they're one of the pioneers of the direct-to-consumer model that links manufacturers overseas with customers here in the United States. Wish facilitates the sale of a variety of things like electronics, clothing, and home goods, and all of the items sold on Wish are sold by independent sellers that list on the Wish.com platform. The Wish.com website allows customers in the United States to buy low-cost goods directly from their manufacturers overseas. Most of these manufacturers are, of course, based in China. In a blog post on its website, Wish.com claims that items available for purchase on the Wish app are quote-unquote manufactured, packed, sold, and shipped by merchants all over the world. But they concede that many of the merchants who sell on Wish are based in China. So this is information coming directly from Wish.com. Now, one of the questions that you may have about Wish, if you've ever browsed the website before, is why are the prices on Wish.com so low? And Wish has an answer. Wish claims that their prices are so low because they quote-unquote have relationships with direct manufacturers and authorized merchants, and that, quote, most items aren't marked up to cover the cost of marketing, advertising, and bulk shipping. So that is the reason coming directly from Wish.com that their items are so cheap. Now, something to know about these items that are sold by Wish is that most of the items sold are coming directly from the manufacturers, usually in China. So this means if you're having an item shipped from Wish.com, it can take weeks or even months in some cases to get the item that you order. Now let's move on to Temu. This is a newer addition to the US e-commerce market. Now Temu is a little bit different. Temu is actually a Chinese company that is owned and operated by PDD Holdings. PDD is the parent company of another popular shopping service in China called Pinduoduo. PDD is headquartered in Shanghai, China, and they are registered in the Cayman Islands, but they actually operate Temu in a variety of countries, including the United States, the United Kingdom, Australia, Canada, France, Germany, and Ireland, just to name a few. Now, as I mentioned before, Temu is actually a relatively recent addition to the US e-commerce space. They officially launched here in the US back in September of 2022, less than a year ago at this point. Now, Temu operates exactly the same way that Wish.com does. They connect vendors overseas, mostly in China, with customers here in the United States. Now, one thing that you'll notice if you've ever looked at Temu's website or you've browsed their app is that Temu has a ton of cheap items. And you may be wondering, how can Temu offer these items so cheaply? Well, just like Wish, Temu has some answers on their website. And Temu claims that their prices are low because they source their products globally, they have experience managing complex logistical supply chains, and that they deliver goods using the consumer to manufacturing model. Now, just like Wish.com, a vast majority of goods sold on Temu's platform are shipped directly from China. Now, on their website, Temu claims that its shipping origins can vary depending on the product being purchased, but most sources report that products are being shipped directly from factories in China. All right, now that we've taken a look at both Wish and Temu, let's move on to another e-commerce platform called Shein. Shein is a Singapore-based e-commerce platform that is owned and operated by a Chinese holding company called the Nanjing Lintian Information Technology Company. Now, Shein was actually founded in Nanjing, China back in 2008, but in 2022, they moved their headquarters to Singapore. Shein did this for regulatory reasons and to better position themselves for global expansion. Now, just like Wish.com and Temu, Shein actually used to be a dropshipping website selling goods manufactured by other companies. But in 2014, they started designing and manufacturing their own clothing to sell on their platform. While Shein originally launched in the United States in 2017, it grew in popularity exponentially during the pandemic years because of its popularity on platforms like TikTok and Instagram. Now, just like Wish.com and Temu, Shein ships a vast majority of its goods directly from its facilities in China. All right, now that we've talked a little bit about who owns these companies and how long they've been in operation, let's move on to where the merchandise is actually coming from. As we touched on before, a vast majority of the goods sold on platforms like Wish, Temu, and Shein are manufactured overseas in facilities either in China or Southeast Asia and shipped directly to customers from those facilities. While some of the vendors on these platforms are major name brands, such as Lenovo selling their products on Temu, many of the products are coming from small, no-name manufacturers that are based in China. As a result, many of these vendors are providing very little information about where their products are made or how they're produced. This in particular has led to some increased scrutiny into platforms like Temu and Shein. In fact, both of these platforms are now being investigated by the House Select Committee on the Chinese Communist Party over concerns of forced labor being used in the manufacture of products being sold on these sites. According to the New York Times, the Select Committee, in a report released on June 22nd, claims that, quote, Temu had failed to maintain even the facade of a meaningful compliance program for its supply chains and was likely shipping products made with forced labor into the United States on a regular basis. The report also calls into question the shipping practice that Shein uses to import its products into the United States. This practice, called de minimis, allows companies overseas to bring products into the United States duty-free and with less scrutiny from customs, as long as packages are sent directly to customers and valued at under $800. All right, now that we've taken a look at where the merchandise is actually coming from, we're going to talk about why it's so cheap. Now, one of the reasons that prices are so much lower on platforms like Wish, Temu, and Shein is that the products that are being sold on the platform most of the time are manufactured in China and they're shipped directly from the factories to consumers here in the US, thus cutting out the middleman. Another reason items are so cheap is because many of the products that are sold are actually cheap copies of name brands, are counterfeits, or they're just straight up junk that either doesn't work as advertised or is completely different than the item ordered. If these allegations of forced labor are in fact true, then that would definitely factor into why prices are so low. If labor costs are virtually non-existent, then overseas companies can undercut the competition and charge drastically lower prices for similar products. Another reason prices are so low, particularly on platforms like Temu, is that the prices are actually artificially low. Temu specifically is losing millions of dollars right now in an effort to win customers away from American e-commerce giants like Amazon. According to Wired, Temu is actually losing about $30 per order in an effort to get new customers here in the United States. Much of this cost is actually tied up in shipping, with Temu losing around $9 to $10 per order just in an effort to offer free international shipping to customers. Alright, now that we covered why prices are so low, let's talk about whether these platforms are a scam or not. At face value, no. Platforms like Wish, Temu, and Shein are not a scam. After all, there have been millions of happy customers that have gotten exactly what they paid for. Unfortunately, platforms like Wish and Temu have developed a reputation for using bait and switch tactics in their online listings, shipping the wrong orders, damaged deliveries, and almost non-existent customer service. These problems with Wish.com in particular, including misleading listings, ghost deliveries, mysteriously canceled orders, and atrocious customer service, were featured in a recent video by YouTuber Atomic Shrimp. In it, he ordered 2 handheld computers listed at absurdly low prices. Instead of getting what he ordered, Atomic Shrimp got some fake tracking numbers and proof of delivery notifications. When he tried to contest the fake deliveries, he was met with an automated customer service system designed to discourage refund requests. While he did eventually get a refund for his bogus orders, the process took entirely too long and was far from customer friendly. If you want to check out his video on the subject, I'll have it linked below. I definitely recommend checking it out. Temu has also landed itself in some hot water recently regarding customer satisfaction, with hundreds of complaints on the Better Business Bureau website. These complaints are regarding issues like packages with missing and broken pieces, missing refunds, being charged for returned items, counterfeit products, and missing welcome gifts. Consequently, Temu is not Better Business Bureau accredited and currently has a C- rating on the website. Aside from these issues, the United States China Economic and Security Review Commission recently raised concerns about the safety and security of customer data on the Temu mobile application after it was revealed that the app of its Chinese sister company Pinduoduo was pulled from the Google Play Store for containing malware. While the Temu app supposedly doesn't have the same issue that the Pinduoduo app did, regulators and legislators are still looking at it with the same suspicion as Chinese-backed apps like TikTok. With all that being said, while online shopping platforms like Wish, Temu, and Shein operate with a basic level of legitimacy and no doubt have many happy customers, there are just too many red flags for me to recommend these brands. While I'm sure that there are many good deals to be had and a lot of the listings are in fact legitimate, I would recommend shopping on platforms that are more transparent and have better traceability. Alright guys, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this information about these shopping platforms. I'm interested to hear your thoughts down in the comments section below. Have you ever used Temu, Wish, or Shein before? What was your experience like when you used these platforms? Did you have any issues? What are your recommendations for alternatives? Let me know all that down in the comments section below. If you're interested in checking out more of my videos, I'll have a playlist linked up there and down in the description below. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, guys, take care, and I'll see you later.